Everyone knew if McCaffrey could stay healthy that he was the perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan's offense. The 49ers already had plenty of weapons, but McCaffrey's skill set added to this already potent attack. Let's look at how Shanahan used McCaffrey this past season to guide the 49ers to the NFC Championship game. You can't talk about Kyle Shanahan's offense without starting with the wide zone, and McCaffrey is the perfect fit for this kind of scheme. So let's dive into the many ways McCaffrey is used in the wide zone game with the 49ers. So we're going to give a brief overview of the wide zone. If we really wanted to deep dive all the nuances, it would take hours upon hours. But if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description to the GOAT of the wide zone, Alex Gibbs, deep diving that, and you could go through. It's about 8 hours of film if that's something you're interested in. So wide zone is a horizontal zone blocking scheme. So everyone here is responsible for the gap. In this case, to our left, the offense is right. And they're trying to get horizontal displacement from these defensive linemen, meaning they just want them to get movement so McCaffrey can read those blocks and hopefully get somebody out leverage and he can find a crease. So they don't really have to reach. That's kind of a misconception. They don't have to reach these guys. They just have to get them moving horizontally. So we'll start with this, for example, like this tackle. He's going to attack the outside number of this guy trying to keep square. Now, if he fights hard to stay in that gap, then he's just going to drive him horizontally. And hopefully that eventually will create a seam somewhere in the defense. What's great about this scheme for someone like McCaffrey is there's no direct point of attack, meaning he's going to read and take what the defense gives him. So his rules are to attack the tight end for about 3 steps, and then he has to decide based on his block on this guy whether he's going to bounce this outside or he's going to bang it and find a crease inside. And if he decides to get outside, then he gets outside, and then he gets north and south as quickly as he can. If he decides to bang it, then he's going to get his eyes on the next down lineman and find the first available crease. So you can see why a scheme like that fits McCaffrey's skill set so well. So in this case here, these 2 tight ends are double teaming here to a guy off the screen. These 2 are double teaming to this linebacker here. These 2 are double teaming. 56 would be the Mike, and this guy is going to cut off. Now you have 2 guys here on the backside, so they actually bring a receiver with a condensed split to try to cut this guy off, and then they always use a bootleg to try to hold one guy by the quarterback. So you've always got to be worried as a defense about the quarterback keeping the ball. So that should hold one of those 2 while that receiver's cutting him off. McCaffrey is reading this block, this combination here. So you can see there's that stretch, and it clearly, the safety comes up and sets a hard edge right there. So that's going to put the ball back inside. So McCaffrey cuts up and tries to find the first crease he can. And the O-line has moved them horizontally enough where there is a crease on the backside, and he's able to find that. So you know you're going to get wide zone from Shanahan, but he's going to disguise a lot of different ways in how he does it. So the first clip, they were under center, kind of this prototypical way that wide zones run. Now they're in more of a gun spread look, but you're still going to get wide zone here. So the line is actually blocking it. He's going to go all the way out on him. We're going to get, well, he's one-on-one with the 3 technique there. We're going to get a double team on the nose guard from the center and the right guard, and they're going to combo back to the backside linebacker, and this tackle is going to cut off this 3 tech here. They're going to use the fullback use check here to crack on that backer to give them the angle, and then Kittle's going to come in motion here, and he's going to lead up in the hole there. So this allows them to get the angle on the linebacker here, and that creates a crease. And then Kittle's leading up in the hole. There's really no one for him. There's a giant hole. So here's another variation, and now they're under center in the I formation, and they're going to be tossing it and running it weak. So this receiver here is going to arc out and pick up the first thing here in the alley. Now they're going to use this fullback to kick this in. So this tackle has no one in his track, so he's just going to go climb to that linebacker now. These two are going to combo to the Mike. These two are going to combo. They really actually don't have anybody to combo to because they use the tight end to get here. So they're just going to get really good movement on that 3-tech right there. So they use that toss action to really open up the inside. So hopefully you get really good movement flowing to that toss. So there's the kick. He knows the ball is going inside, and you can see McCaffrey's patient here. He attacks this double to set it up, and then he's able to find a crease behind it and get into the secondary. So here's an example of his versatility. They don't just use him as the main back in wide zone. Here they've got him lined up at receiver, and they've got Debo in the backfield. They're running a wide zone strong toss. So these guys are all zoning left. You got a fullback to lead, and then they're tossing it to Debo here. But he's got an option to throw the slant. And so McCaffrey here is running the slant backside. So this is a pre-snap look. Purdy's going to look at the numbers, look at the leverage. He can either toss it to Debo there, or he can step back and throw the slant to McCaffrey. So he likes the look to the slant. So he's going to step kind of like he's going to toss, but really he's open up his hips. And as that slant opens up, he gets the ball out to McCaffrey. The wide zone and its variation were a great way to horizontally attack the defense. To complement the wide zone, Shanahan used his unique version of duo to create downhill explosive plays for McCaffrey. So this is a unique scheme here that Shanahan uses. And the line's basically blocking duo, but it sets up more like a power or counter play. So in power or counter, usually you're going to have, let's say power, a fullback would kick, and then a guard would wrap. So you have, and everybody else would be responsible to block down, and then he kind of protects that pull right there. Well, instead of using linemen to pull, they're just going to try to get as many double teams and use the two tight ends. So Juszczyk here is going to motion, and he's going to kick, and then Kittle is going to pull and wrap into the hole. So instead of using linemen, they're going to use their tight ends. You're going to get a double here to the backside. He's going to block him one-on-one, and you're just going to get base blocks here. So there's your motion. There's your kick by Juszczyk. Here's Kittle in the hole. He gets to the linebacker. The line does a great job of getting movement there, and McCaffrey squeaks through. So here it is again, similar look, a little bit different. They're just going to down this guy, and they're going to double this shade here instead. These guys are still going to get the base. We got our motion guy coming in to kick, and our wing tight end to wrap there. So again, the kick and wrap. McCaffrey is following that second tight end who pulls, and then he finds a crease as he follows him. And once he gets into the secondary, he's hard to bring down. McCaffrey's ability in the passing game makes him a unique asset. He's a dual threat at any time, anywhere he lines up. So let's dive into how the 49ers use him in their passing game. McCaffrey has been synonymous with the option route since his days at Stanford, so there's no surprise when Shanahan started calling it frequently once he was acquired. Let's look at how they run the option route. So they're going to run out of a 2x2 variation here. So number one receiver up top, he's going to run the dig, and Juszczyk here is going to clear out and run an out. McCaffrey is going to attack here, get to about 3 to 4, and he can read the coverage. He can slant and break to grass in the middle. He can break out and drift, or he can curl. Now what happens, because they're in a 2x2 set, when Juszczyk goes on his flat route, it expands this linebacker here. And so McCaffrey is not able to break out. So his only option is either to curl or break in. Well, this linebacker knows he has to get in the window of that dig, and so that leaves space in between these two linebackers that McCaffrey settles in to get the completion. So you can see the linebacker expand with Juszczyk there. McCaffrey doesn't see grass on either side, so he just settles, and they get him the ball. He's able to pick up the first down. So now they're going to run it out of a 3-by-1 set. And so you still have your dig here and then McCaffrey on the option route, but you just don't have anybody in the flat to kind of clear that out. And the Dolphins actually have a pretty good call here. They're going to be in a cloud, and they're actually going to drop this guy into the hook curl. This guy's going to jam but pass off the dig to this safety, so they actually have this route kind of squeezed. But again, like I said, McCaffrey's been running this so long, and he's so good at it that he's able to just set up right in between those guys, and it's a small window, but they're still able to get a completion and pick up some yards, even though it's not the best call versus this look. So you can see he's attacking, reading that. He's got 2 guys with eyes on him, so he just settles now. Ball's already out. And they still pick up enough for the first down. Many of their explosive pass plays came from the screen game. McCaffrey is so tough to bring down in space, so getting involved in the screens is a no-brainer. Great call here by Shanahan. The Raiders are in a 0 blitz, meaning they're going to bring 6, and then the 5 left each have a man. And this safety here is responsible for McCaffrey. So they're going to leave their tackles in, and then everyone's going to pass set for a quick count, and then they're going to get out in front to lead block. And because the guy on McCaffrey comes from so much depth, they're able to get this guard on him and spring McCaffrey for a big play. So there's the blitz. You can see there, and he slips out. They get the ball to him quick. And now that safety has to break down and make a play with 2 linemen running right at him. He's not able to, and now McCaffrey's off. So now McCaffrey is in the slot. And initially it doesn't look like a great call because they've got a guy right in his face. And if he jumps it now, it could really disrupt this play. But he's hesitant, and that allows time for Kittle to get out and kick him, and McCaffrey to able to get in front of that block. They release the tackle this time, so they're going to quick set, and they get all these guys out and are able to create a big play. So the overhang or nickel there is frozen. He doesn't react quick enough. Kittle's able to get just enough, and he's got Lyman out in front, and now he's in space and sets him up for 1st and goal. Shanahan would often use McCaffrey and line him up at all the receiver spots. He has the ability to stretch a defense vertically, running great routes, and even beat defensive backs one-on-one. So let's look at how Shanahan used him in the vertical passing game. So this example here shows his ability to line up wide and just run fade routes. And so he's going to attack the corner here, do a good job of selling inside to create space, and then break back out and beat this corner one-on-one. So you can see he does a great job of stemming or running right at the corner. The corner fights to keep inside leverage, and he breaks back outside for the touchdown. So another great design here, and Shanahan's about to put a lot of stress on the defense here. So the predicament they put them in is you have Kittle here in a nub set, and then you got McCaffrey here. They're in a 1-high set, so they're going to motion McCaffrey out here. So they have a choice. They can move this corner out with McCaffrey and have the linebacker one-on-one with Kittle, or they can move the linebacker, leave the corner on Kittle, and have McCaffrey one-on-one with the linebacker. Neither one of those scenarios are great for the defense. They elect to bump the linebacker. Now you have a linebacker trying to cover McCaffrey on a deep ball, which is not a great matchup. So there's the motion. You can see the linebacker bumping, and his hips are still square. So this is pretty much over now. Great ball. Safety saves a touchdown. We saw what Shanahan and McCaffrey were able to accomplish with a limited amount of time to insert McCaffrey into the offense. Now Shanahan has the entire offseason and preseason to build an offense with McCaffrey in mind. So leave a comment and let me know, how do you think this is going to work out next season?